Me? I want you to have 5 water. Sure.
Go. Yeah, rolling.
Hilarious. And cut.
It's basically a girl who has been a bridesmaid 27 times and is in love with her boss and never tells him and just isn't really living her life. She's sort of living everybody else's life for them and is good at that.
The maid of honor is a peculiar young woman.
If I look at the movies I've been in, there's been a lot of, I've been stuck in a lot of love triangles, and usually I'm the guy that sort of gets the short end of the stick. So it's nice to, you know, when I read this, it was like, oh, wait, they're considering me for like the guy that actually gets the girl? I don't know if I can do that.
Action!
Okay, fine, you don't have to wear it.
Oh, God, you don't care. You don't care about anyone but yourself, do you?
Tess becomes a bit of a bridezilla, only because no one ever tells her no, you know? So she definitely has a bit of a range where she goes from sweet and likable, and we kind of like her, and she's fun and crazy, and then you kind of go, oh, she's kind of selfish and a little bit of a brat.
Maybe we could try it one more time.
Yeah. Okay. Not what it's supposed to feel like.
The comedy comes so easily to Katie and Malin. Basically, we are setting up softballs for 2 very funny actresses, and they've been hitting them out of the park repeatedly.
So, is everything you hoped for?
No. It's more. It's much more.
And action!
Okay, wait, what are those?
Nothing.
Are those?
No. No.
It seemed like an interesting opportunity to explore not just what does it mean to be a person who is best friends with so many people, and what kind of personality type would be so close to so many people.
You were in 2 weddings in one night, weren't you? It's a little upsetting, don't you think?
Well, they're both really, really good friends of mine, and their weddings happen to be on the same night, so what was I supposed to do?
And I think a lot of women have the people-pleasing thing where they really are trying to be everyone's friend. And it seemed like being a bridesmaid was a perfect opportunity to explore that.
And action!
Yeah! Genius, Anne Fletcher, love you.
Anne Fletcher is the director of this movie, and she has been an absolute delight. To meet her is, you know, to know her. She is bright, she is funny, she is passionate, she's alive.
Like that.
Immediately when we met her, she responded to the movie and has worked out terrifically. I think she's going to be one of the great romantic comedy directors in our time.
Great.
Aline Roche McKenna, who wrote it, created amazing characters that I identified with. I'm very, very much like Jane, who is a codependent and likes to help everybody. I think every woman can relate to, on some level, being a bridesmaid, never a bride, at the very least, wearing ugly bridesmaids dresses.
Some of them are really not that bad.
That's impossible. I would love to see one that's not that bad.
Fine, I'll show you.
And we wanted to do something different that was more character-driven. And everybody was sort of bored of these romantic comedies where it was, you know, 2 faces on a poster and what obstacles can they get over in order to fall in love. We had the high concept of all the weddings that we were going to see and all the bridesmaid dresses, but what we really wanted to have was the real characters underneath it all, and that's what we spent a lot of time working on.
Wedding vows, yay. Come to mama. Jane is obsessed with those particular articles because she's obsessed with the vows columns, and she loves this particular writer that Kevin happens to be, and she doesn't know that until right before he shows up at her door. That one's terrible, but this one is really
Horrible, right? What's the word you're looking for? No, what color is this? Vomit?
Then he kind of just sort of gets her to warm up and talk about it and then start trying them on, and he starts taking pictures of her in the dresses to show her how ridiculous they are and that she shouldn't be saving them, and they kind of have this great fun afternoon together.
I'm sorry. No, you look beautiful. You should be flattered. She didn't want to be standing next to a tall, beautiful woman and have you actually looking decent.
There's a joke I make in the movie. It's about, you know, the bride, you know, picks out ugly bridesmaid dresses so that she can look beautiful, which there might be some truth to that. But yeah, I think maybe it's because the bride doesn't want anybody stealing her thunder.
You got your pinks.
If you're the bridesmaids, you have no choice. You know, you kind of have to wear what your friend asks you to wear.
Well, then you got your blues.
It doesn't matter how ugly the dress is. If you get enough of them in a row, there's something very pretty about it. It's the uniform. It's the craziest thing. But by itself, it's horrific. But in a row, you're like, oh, that's pretty. Nice color.
You think I'll like these?
Yes, I do. I think those photos for the fall catalog will cause George to take you into his office and make sweet love to you for hours and hours.
We wanted her to be more than just the funny friend. We wanted her to be a real friend to her. Real, you know, like the one person in Jane's life who knew her inside and out and supported her and pushed her and stopped her from doing stupid things. And so for that, you know, Judy was funny within creating a real person to Jane.
But if she crosses me, I'm gonna kick her ass. And then I will kick your ass. And then I'm gonna have a couple drinks. But there's no sign that says no talking.
She's kind of brassy, she's kind of loud. She doesn't really have much of an editor inside of her, no censor at all, so she just says whatever comes to mind. She's really fun, and I think she tries to bring out the wild side in Jane.
Okay, which one do you want, the brunette or the blonde? I kind of want the blonde, I'm not gonna lie.
Casey, can't you keep it in your pants for one wedding?
Are you kidding? The only reason to wear this monstrous dress is so some drunken groomsman can rip it to shreds with his teeth.
She's like to Jane, like all of our like crazy best friend. Like for girls, like you always have one friend that your boyfriend hates, like and doesn't want you to hang out with. Like that's probably Casey to Jane. Like the girl that you always get in a little trouble with. The girl that you're always like, maybe we could forget about last night.
Gina!
Hey, George.
Hey, great party.
Yeah, thanks for coming. You got some champagne glasses and a bottle of Cristal.
Good. All right. Anyway, she's gonna believe that it actually came from me.
Maybe. I wrapped it like a car ran over it.
Nice touch.
George is Jane's boss. He is just this great guy who's got everything going for him, and she's sort of been madly in love with him for the last 5 years that she's been working for him, but never had the guts to tell him.
He asks if you want a drink. You smile and you say vodka soda. If you already have a drink, you down it, and then there's some flirting, some inter-office sex, an accidental pregnancy, a shotgun wedding, and a life of bliss.
Eddie, you know, he's a great actor, and so that was really hard, and I tip my hat off to him because it was hard for him to pull that off, and he's completely lovable. He does the best job with it. We understand why Jane is in love with George and why they should be together. Of course, why not? He's successful, he's handsome, he's athletic, he's a do-gooder, and so is she, so you want them to kind of be together a little bit. So he fit the bill perfectly.
George, this is my sister Tess. Tess, this is my George. No, I didn't mean it like that. That's not...
Jane is my assistant. Kind of like my right hand.
Lucky her.
Tess and Jane's mother died when they were little, so Jane sort of took over and took care of Tess, and I think that's what kind of, you know, began this thing in her, this need in her to take care of everybody. And her sister is her sort of Achilles heel. Like, she just can't say no to her. She can't sort of back off and let Tess make her own mistakes. She's kind of always sort of picking up after her and cleaning up after her and fixing everything for her.
We have to love her as much as Jane loves her, because if we hate her, then we're like, Jane, you're just a jerk. Like, why are you putting up with that for your sister? It creates a dislike for our lead character. So she loves her sister. We need to love her sister.
You wanted to get married at the boathouse in Mom's dress, too. I know.
No, I didn't know that that's what you wanted. But if it is, then I just want you to be happy, you know that.
Great. Okay, now can we talk all of her mean-spirited things that she does are really not from a bad place. It's just being the younger sister and being spoiled, and nobody says no, you know? So why not?
Okay, here we go. And we're rolling.
Alan's character, Tess, as she begins to plan the wedding, she's doing a lot of stuff, and women do really get caught up. So we also have Tess in the movie being a bit of the bridezilla. And I think people are accustomed to women who seem relatively normal when they start to plan their weddings, and then they slowly lose their minds.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I can't undo what you've just done, but I won't let you hurt George.
That was an interesting scene to do because I think we all have sort of been in that position at one point or another where we see somebody we love trying on their wedding dress, and it's the dress and it's so beautiful on them. Again, it's one of those scenes where it sort of goes sour for Jane pretty quickly because she realizes that Tess used only pieces of their mother's wedding dress. She basically ruined it, and Jane had hoped to wear it on her wedding day. So that's the final straw for Jane, and she realizes that Tess is sort of out of control, that she's thoughtless, and that she's not taking anybody else's feelings into consideration, and that it's gone too far. And so she has her say for the first time probably ever.
Today, you're just some bitch who broke my heart and cut up my mother's wedding dress.
Well, it wouldn't have fit you anyway. The thing that this movie has that I loved is that it had the Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant level of like the equal power mentality where they fight back and forth.
Very refreshing, a man who doesn't believe in marriage.
I'm just trying to point out the hypocrisy of the spectacle.
Oh, that's so noble of you. Do you also go around telling small children that Santa Claus doesn't exist?
And she's this great person who does everything for everybody and just so happy. And then she meets Kevin, who brings out the bad in her, and she fights with him, and she's sarcastic with him, and he just irks her so badly in so many ways, but there's some of it that she loves, that she bounces off of. Just has all of that back and forth, great dialogue and energy, which I just respond to a lot. So I love that about this movie.
Everything's perfect. And this dress, the best thing is I can shorten it and wear it again.
Definitely, so true.
Oh, Jane's wedding is so beautiful. It's the perfect beach wedding. It's a tasteful number of people, adorable bridesmaid dresses, and mostly like the most important thing is that they talk about in the movie is the way the groom looks at the bride when she walks down the aisle. And so it's a big moment to see Kevin's reaction to Jane as she's walking down the aisle in her wedding dress. And it's definitely a big payoff knowing that she's been a bridesmaid 27 times.
And action!
Jane's dress needed to be simple because her life was very simplistic and classic and nothing over the top. She ran her life that way. Her life was very simple, and she liked the little things in life versus the big, huge thing that every other bride would want. She wanted less. So we wanted to go in that direction of something very classic and simple and clean, and that's what it was.
It was sort of fun because I got to experience what a summer beach wedding would be, and it was beautiful. It was gloriously decorated. Everybody looked amazing. The flowers were just to die for. I wanted to take them all home with me, and in my mind, it's sort of the perfect ending for the movie. Couldn't get much better than that.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join Jane Nichols.
When a movie is rooted in reality and is very, very funny, and then you get to the end of the romantic comedy, and it's very, very touching. I still get goosebumps when I see the end of this movie.
And it's also a romantic comedy that doesn't necessarily appeal just to women. There's real characters, there's a real family dynamic. There's a lot going on underneath the concept, which is why we're really happy with it.
I think the film turned out really great. Katharine, her performance is really nothing short of perfect. Her sense of timing, her comedic timing, and I think she's going to come across as the all-endearing new leading romantic female lead.
It's just been a really awesome experience to get to play a female character that is funny, that is charming, but that is flawed. It's all of the things that you sort of want in your comedic characters, and I love this kind of comedy. I really enjoy it and have a good time getting to mess around and play with it and see how far I can push my kind of shticky humor. And it's just been a really wonderful experience, and I've been sort of waiting my whole life to get to have this particular romantic comedy experience, so I'm really grateful.
So is it everything you hoped for?
No. It's more. It's much more.
Aren't the dresses great? The best thing about them is you can shorten them and wear them again.
Definitely so true.
Well, we had 27 dresses, first of all, to get. They had had to be ugly, they had to be different, they had to be, you know, every range of color palette and just everything ugly.
This one is really
Horrible. Right? What's the word you're looking for? What color is this? Vomit?
All of Jane's friends have the worst taste.
I read the script and it was just amazing because there were so many different aspects of costuming, and I just thought, what costume designer wouldn't want to do a film called 27 Dresses?
It's like some movies have their own special effects department, and like an X-Men movie will have, you know, spaceships, which are a large part of the movie. The wardrobe was equally important in this movie.
I just said to Kat, go out and you find the ugliest dresses, and it can't be too ugly. When you think it's ugly, take it to the next level and make it uglier.
We didn't want to hold back. We wanted to have fun with it. We thought we can always push ourselves to go a little bit further because it's supposed to be funny and it's supposed to be charming and it's supposed to be real.
It was kind of like finding, oh, I understand why this girl picked this awful looking thing, but it's awful. Like, you can't wear it again. And you know, every bride, I mean, we have the joke in the movie, every bride says, oh, you can just shorten this and just wear it again. It's like, no, it's just a one-time costume, but thanks. That I probably spent a lot of money on.
Starting to get ugly now.
It was very important for us not to say, oh, people are going to think this is ridiculous. This is too over the top. It was, you know, always about pushing ourselves further. How can we make this funnier or more colorful or more relatable? Like, we want Jane to feel like a real person.
And I know every bride tries to make them look great, but they just never succeed. It doesn't matter. So Kat's marching orders were bigger, uglier, louder, shinier. Whatever you can do, just go to that level, and it can't go too far. That's what she had to do.
It's my favorite.
Oh my God, what the hell is that?
Theme wedding.
What was the theme? Humiliation?
The 27 dresses were a really interesting challenge because we had clearly 27 bridesmaids dresses, but we also had the theme weddings.
Gone with the Wind wedding.
No, people do not have Gone with the Wind weddings.
Oh, I've been to 3. I really loved the Gone with the Wind one. I thought that was really fun, and it was kind of fun to wear, even though it was really hideous. It was just sort of fun to swish around with it in my bonnet.
We had the plantation wedding, which was, you know, full sort of Gone with the Wind. I think we had 10 women in hoop skirts that we built. We built every single one of them, so that was pretty incredible. I mean, it was really about comedy because we just wanted to, the bigger, the better.
Action.
I loved the cowgirl one. That was really fun to wear too. I don't know, I think it's all the themed weddings that I really enjoyed.
And the best thing is you could just shorten it and wear it again. That is definitely so true.
Then we had the Indian sari, which was for the Indian Jewish wedding. We had the underwater wedding, which is always great, getting women in bathing suits. The goth wedding, that was one of the more fun ones to do because putting Katie in a spiked collar, she's like, are you kidding me? I was like, no. But she was always game, and that was the great thing about Catherine, is that she was always game to push it. She didn't care about it. It was never like, oh, I'm gonna look like an idiot. It was like, she's like, if I look like an idiot, I look like an idiot. It's fun. You know, it's like playing dress up.
Turn, and then this.
I would have to say my favorite dress is the Bahama Mama. I really do. It was the craziest thing. It's a cake. It's just a cake of color, and it never stops. It's this crazy looking thing.
The Caribbean Mama dress, yes, which was sort of this strange confection of pink and yellow, and it was really about trying to imagine like where that would have been like a wedding in the Caribbean, you know, some kooky friend of hers that, you know, just wanted to be over the top. When we started talking about Jane's wedding dress, it was very, obviously Jane, this woman who's been a bridesmaid 27 times, is gonna put a little bit of thought into what she wears for her wedding. So we wanted it to be classic, and we wanted it to be beautiful, and we wanted it to be serious, to be very, you know, fashionable and flattering. So that was sort of the main criteria for it. I guess classic, something that you could look at in 50 years and say, oh, she just was a beautiful bride. So when we just started designing that, especially her wedding, you know, it was on the beach and it was very romantic, it was very comfortable and relaxed, but at the same time, you know, she's in this beautiful gown that Amsala ended up building for us. They just did a gorgeous job. We decided not to do a veil because that felt a little too traditional for this woman that has been through so many weddings. Instead, we did a huge, beautiful, fresh gardenia in her hair. So it was just very just very fresh and very her and very free but classic. Most rewarding part was the scene on the beach at the end when all the girls are in the dresses that she wore and just looking at the line of the women. It was probably my favorite twist on the script too. I loved that. I just thought that was so clever that she makes them all wear her gown and seeing them all there, and it was like some sort of strange Fellini moment.
Can you switch places? Yeah. Most of them were store-bought, old, new. I'm sure, knowing Kat, she went to her girlfriends and said, "Do you have anything ugly?" She just went out into the world to see what existed. She bought these things. That's what's so crazy, is they are real and they are out in the world for people to use. So that's actually scarier than her having to build for the movie.
There is a serious side to love and romance, but then you can also have fun. There's the fantasy world of it, which I think many brides sort of forget about. It becomes, this is my magical day, but you should also have fun with it. So I think that's a very special sort of message that you get from 27 Dresses.
After I read the script, and how I visualized the film was, thank God we're shooting in New York. And then I found out we were shooting in Rhode Island for New York.
Shepard's job was really hard. That was a big challenge for him, of having to make Rhode Island, New York. I think he did a great, great job. And we utilized our little time in New York to the best of our ability to really pull from the city to tie it all together. And I think we succeeded in that.
Are those?
No.
Are those?
No.
What occurred to me was that the film is about this woman's experience. So it's really about her home, her workplace, and all of the wedding events that she attends. There were so many weddings, it was crazy. But ultimately, you're kind of mass producing them. I had boards full of just wedding research on the movie that Anne and I discussed. So we were trying to decide what is the most graphic and iconic, and how do you sell something really quickly. I felt like the production as a whole did a great job at capturing several different environments as weddings and how it tells that story. So I feel really good about that part of the story.
The sets Shepard designed were spectacular. Besides the weddings that he designed, which he did an unbelievable job of just making those look like great weddings. And he did a great job with Heigl's apartment also, which is, feels very authentically East Village-y and, realistic, but still has her personality throughout the whole thing.
Her apartment is like another character in the film for Catherine, because when she's trying on these 27 dresses in her house, the closet that she has her 27 dresses in, it read in the script it's as big as a one-bedroom apartment or something, but ultimately what we did is a lot of apartments in New York City over time are subdivided. So some of the logic that Anne and I came up with was the closet was an old pantry from another apartment on the same floor, which warranted it to be a little bit bigger and to have a little bit of grander architecture. Ed Burns' character's office, it was basically a business where the owner, Ed Burns, was an outdoor enthusiast, but he was also a businessman. So we kind of decided, you know what, let's turn this into a green, eco-friendly building material. So I used 4-inch corrugated cardboards. I used shipping containers that we cut up and put them into the space and painted them as transition and office conference spaces. We used a recycled wood. We used eco-friendly carpets and stuff like that.
George's office was the coolest set in the world. I wish I worked in that office, and everything was sort of recycled goods, and even there's furniture in the office, and it felt great. And the movie takes place, what's nice about it is there's not a lot that takes place in George's office, but what does feels credible and real and very New York and very realistic.
Oh, Dad, this place looks exactly the same.
My favorite place he designed in the movie is Hal's Hardware and Hal's apartment, the dad. It was a practical location. Shepard did a bang-up job with the hardware store, which was just an empty shell. And you just wanted to feel like it was something of yesteryear, that this is a man whose wife died and he continued living his world. Not that he was trapped, but He lived as if she still was alive. And that's kind of how the apartment is for me as well. Like, you would imagine that the mom would come out of the kitchen at any minute, but she just wasn't there. So I love the warmth of it and the reality, and you really see that they're reflections of their parents. You really get that from his place and his hardware store.
Do I have a favorite set on the film? I love turning nothing into something. That's what I love. And sometimes it's fun to go into locations and really have everyone like, I cannot believe we're shooting here. What is he seeing? And they see a beautiful illustration of what it's gonna be. And then they show up 2, 3, 4 weeks later, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this looks like this now. Like that, I love. It definitely happened on stage, and happened at the bridal shop, happened at Urban Everest. You know, so I have a soft spot for all of them. They're like my children, you know?
Team. We had t-shirts made. My boyfriend made the t-shirts. We wanted to have something bright so we could see each other, and I have my mom helping me with getting in and out of the dresses. Hopefully I find something I like.
Morning!
I'm from Atlanta.
Florida.
California.
DC, Boston, and New York.
We are here to get a beautiful beaded ball gown. We've been here since 12:30
a.m.
and we're ready. Basically, this is where I can get the best dress for the best price, and I can get, you know, a $5,000 designer gown for $249, $499, so it's worth it.
I could never afford a $5,000 dress or a $6,000 dress. This is incredible. A $5,000 dress for $249, that's my dream. So that's why I'm here.
Strategy is to run in, grab as many dresses as we can, and we sort of came in a little bit early. We came in last week and checked out the store, so we know where we want to go to try on, to be near mirrors.
Our strategy is going one way, she going the other way. So.
A woman came by and told us, you know, just have fun, and it's so true, just have fun. Don't get so excited, don't get so anxious, and she calmed me down a little bit, and I hope it helps with the other girls, because I can tell that there's a lot of tension building already, so I hope that it all works out, and the most important thing is just to have fun.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's called Running of the Brides because the media started calling it that, just comparing it to the Running of the Bulls in Pamplona. Filings Basement sells the dresses from $249 to $699, and the original prices that you would pay in a bridal salon are $900 to $9,000. So people can save at least 72% and all the way up to 92%.
What we do is we go straight to the manufacturers. We buy a lot of discontinued dresses they don't make anymore, sample dresses that they're not going to be able to sell, so they sell them to us for very cheap. So we get them for very cheap, and that's why we're able to put them out at such great prices.
I got the purple! This is just an event that the shoppers generate on their own. They're the ones who started the running to the racks. They started bringing helpers. They started the whole trading, bartering tradition. So we just try to keep people safe and help them have a good time.
What do you think?
It's pretty overwhelming, you know, it's just been amazing. From what I understand, everybody that's seen this event before, this is the quickest that they ever saw these dresses disappear. Within 30 seconds, every dress was snapped up.
I never had an adrenaline rush like that, just grabbing things. And
I can't believe the racks emptied that quickly.
I know.
It was exciting.
And now you'll start to witness people trading with each other. What size do you have? What don't you want? And they start swapping, and we start trying to find dresses that we can put back on the racks. But this is, it's overwhelming. It's unbelievable.
All right, what else do we got?
10. Size 10. We have a lot of 8. We have a lot of things. We have 8. I have my dad out searching for some other 4s and 6s, swapping with people. That's how we got this one. So we're excited. It's going good.
It doesn't quite fit right now, but we're gonna work on it. And by February. But we've got piles of dresses. My girls did a good job.
We did not even get a dress, not one. The racks were cleared completely by the time we came in at 8 when they opened the doors. So we've been kind of searching around, grabbing leftovers to swap them and barter. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna wait a few minutes till the racks kind of fill up again and sort through.
I found what I'm looking for.
Oh, it's going fine. Again, I thought I was going to Atlantic City, all right? And I ended up here. I'm going to Atlantic City after this.
We're gonna think of each other on our wedding day.
Definitely. It's a special moment.
Yeah.
It's just such an important purchase for a woman. It's usually the first thing after she gets engaged that she wants to do is buy a dress. It's a bonding experience for these girls. Most of them bring best friends, mothers, godmothers, and they come as a team. They strategize as a team, they bond over this, and then they find the dream dress, pay for it, and go out for Bloody Marys.